Valentine's Day, the day of love. Love, happiness, and laughter filled the air until 2:21 p.m. Before I knew it, we were not practicing for our Florida Standards Assessment anymore. We were hiding. Fear took over my mind, shock took over my body, and Alyssa's worried face took over my eyes. 2 feet between me and my friend, and 20 seconds between life and death. More gunshots I hear, and they get closer and closer until that loud sound I heard was coming from the door of my classroom. The glass of our door breaks. It shatters, along with my innocence and safety. This is what victim Julia Bishop felt when she had to go through the unquestionable terror of wondering whether or not she would ever see her family again. This was the day of the Douglas High School shooting in Florida several months ago. February 14th was the day that 17 innocent lives were taken before they even had the chance to make something of themselves. And for what reason? For many decades, guns have caused major problems all around the world. It is all too common to see on the headline of a newspaper or the breaking news part of the news segment that there has been yet another mass shooting. According to the federal government and the FBI, mass shootings are defined as a multiple homicide incident in which 4 or more victims are murdered with firearms, not including the shooter, within one event in 1 or more locations close in proximity. Mass shootings in the United States and around the world are something that are happening far too often, and something needs to be done to prevent these terrible occurrences and the death of more people. According to USA Today research team, mass killings involving firearms with 4 or more people killed happens every 12.5 days. This does not include the shootings where people were only injured. There have been 154 mass shootings in 2018 alone, which means that there have been almost as many mass shootings as there has been days. With that being said, more than 7,000 people have died from gun-related violences this year, and 13,000 were injured. Though the grief that follows mass shootings is sometimes unbearable, there have been, despite seeming impossible odds, some positive outcomes from these terrible actions. Doctors and scientists have been able to rule out the idea that mass shootings are done strictly by people with mental illnesses. Many believe that mass shootings are done by people with mental illnesses. According to the National Center for Health Statistics, individuals diagnosed with a mental illness carried out fewer than 5% of the 120,000 gun-related killings in the U.S. between 2001 and 2010. Though these numbers may have changed throughout the years, one thing stays certain. The majority of mass shootings are not caused by individuals with mental illness, but instead by angry, lifeless people who believe that the only way to fulfill their darkness is to take the lives of other people. These are the people we need to be afraid of, not those who have a mental illness. The negative effects of mass shootings are none other than the ones that are already known. Mass shootings have caused countless amount of lives to be cut short. These events of death and tragedy cause a worldwide state of sorrow and depression, and the big question once again is brought up. Why? Why does this keep happening? This keeps happening because nobody is willing to give up their firearm for the sake of life and children and adults. To some people, having a gun is more important than the lives of others. They are willing to risk the lives of other human beings just to ensure that they get to keep their firearm. Unfortunately, that is the sad truth about today's society. Evidence shows stricter gun policies could have also helped prevent several mass shootings. Mass shootings in, and not limited to, South Carolina, Charleston, and New York could have run into difficulty buying guns if the federal background checks were more thorough and better funded. This is one step the government could take to lessen the occurrences of mass shootings. The government could have allocated more money towards the National Instant Criminal Background Check System and possibly prevented dozens of mass shootings. It just narrows them down to them actually doing it. If our government does not do something about the reoccurrences of mass shootings, who knows how many more shootings there will be and how many more lives will be lost. A recent study showed that if the United States reduced its firearm deaths by having much stricter gun laws, America could have saved almost 33,000 lives since 2013. 33,000 lives could have been saved. How many more lives need to be lost before our government decides to step in and do something?